Sorting. Sorting is the arrangement of elements of the array in ascending or descending order. Or sorting means arrange the elements in ascending or descending order. There are different types of sorting. Different types of sortings are bubble sort, selection sort, heap sort, shell sort, insertion sort, merge sort and quick sort. Here we are discussing about insertion sort. In insertion sort, in each iteration, one element is considered as a key element, and this key element is comparing with the elements before the key element and insert at the appropriate position. We can discuss it with one example. See this example: 70, 30, 40, 10, 50. See this. This is an array with 5 elements. Subscripts are 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. This array is not in an order. We need to arrange this in ascending order. That is, the smallest element will be in the first position. Like that we need to arrange. For that, we need to consider each element as, in each iteration, we need to consider each element as a key element. That is, in the first iteration, this is the 0th element, that is the element in the 0th position. So, this 70 first element we don't want to consider. Then, from position 1 to n-1 we need to consider as key element. That is, first we need to consider 30 as key element and need to compare the elements before this 30. Next iteration 40 will be the key element, and in the next iteration 10 will be the key element, and in the last iteration 50 will be the key element. See, in the first iteration key element is 30. Then what are the elements before this key element? Here only one element, that is 70. 70 is the element before the key element. So, we need to compare key element and 70, that is 30 less than 70. So, we need to interchange this 30 and 70. 30 is less than 70, so need to interchange. Then after interchanging, we will get the array like this: 30, 70, 40, 10, 50. Next, see, now it came to the leftmost position. After that, we need to consider the position 1 element as the key element. That is this. First we have considered 30 as the key element. Next iteration, we need to consider 40 as the key element. 40 is the key element. Then what are the elements before this key element? 30 and 70. So, need to compare this 40 with the 70. First we need to compare 40 with the 70. Then we need to compare 40 with the 30. See, 40 less than 70. So, we need to interchange this 40 and 70. Then we will get the array 30, 40, 70, 10, 50. After interchanging 30 and 40, we will get this 70 and 40, we will get this array. Next, we need to compare this 40 and 30. 40 is not less than 30. So, we don't want to interchange. So, we will get the same array. See, now it came to the leftmost position or 0th position. So, we can consider the next iteration. In this iteration, position next key element is this 10. Next key element is 10. Then what are the elements before the key element? 30, 40 and 70. Then first need to compare 10 with 70. 10 less than 70. So interchange 10 and 70. 10 less than 70. So interchange 10 and 70. Then we will get 30, 40, 10, 70, 50. Next 10 needs to compare with 40. Then 10 less than 40. So again needs to interchange. Then we'll get the array 30, 10, 40, 70, 50. Next 10 needs to compare with 30. 10 less than 30. So needs to interchange 10 and 30. Then we'll get the array 10, 30, 40, 70, 50. See, now it came to the leftmost position. Now, so this iteration over. In the next iteration, we need to consider key as 50. Key element is 50. Then in 50, what are the elements before this key element? 10, 30, 40, 70. Then what is the next process? Needs to compare 50 with 70, 50 with 40, 50 with 30 and 50 with 10. Then first 50 needs to compare with 70. See, 50 less than 70. So needs to interchange 50 and 70. Then we'll get the array like this. Next 50 needs to compare with 40. But that is false. 50 is not less than 40. Or next 50 is not less than 30. 50 is not less than 10. So we don't want to interchange the elements. And finally we will get the same array 10, 30, 40, 50 and 70. See, we got the resultant array like this. Now we got the array in ascending order. The elements in ascending order, or we got the sorted array. That is, if you want to sort the elements in the array, in each iteration we need to consider one element as key element. Then that element needs to compare with the elements before that element. First, this element is considered as key element 30. Next key element is 40. Next key element is 10. Next key element is 50. Like that needs to compare. Now we can consider the insertion sort algorithm. Let A be an array with n elements. For I is equal to 1 to n minus 1. See, this for loop, I is starting from 1 because for 0th element is not considered as the key element. Key element is considered from position 1. That is why this for loop is starting from 1 to n minus 1. Then j is equal to I. See the one while loop. This while loop is for comparing the key element with the element before the key element. For that we are using this while loop. See, a of j, if a of j less than a of j minus 1, that is the key element is less than the element before the key element, needs to interchange that two elements. See these three steps. Last year we have studied the steps for interchanging two numbers. See, here we are interchanging a of j and a of j minus 1. Temp is equal to a of j is equal to a of j minus 1, a of j minus 1 is equal to temp. That is, this is for interchanging a of j and a of j. That is, a of j less than a of j minus 1. We are interchanging a of j and a of j minus 1. After that, j is decrementing by 1. After that, end of while. Next, after completing one iteration, this for loop will increment. I will become 2. Then again this process will repeat till n minus 1. Now we can consider the lab program. Write a program to sort the elements of the array in ascending order using insertion sort. Hash include iostream.h, hash include conio.h, class sorting. Here class name is sorting. Private, what are all the data members? One array a of 50, n is the number of elements, I, j, then one temp for interchanging. Then in the public, 3 member functions, get data, sort and display. In get data, what are the inputs of this program? Number of elements of the array and elements of the array. For entering elements of the array, we need one for loop. That is, for loop is starting from 0 to n. 0, I less than n, c in a of I. It is for reading the elements. Then in sorting process, see, for I is equal to 1, I less than n, I plus plus, j is equal to I. Then while j greater than 0, if a of j less than a of j minus 1, temp is equal to a of j is equal to a of j minus 1, if j minus 1 is equal to temp. That is, if a of j less than a of j minus 1, we need to interchange a of j and a of j minus 1. After that, j is decrementing by 1. After completing one iteration, we need to increment the value of I. Then I will become 2. Then again it will repeat this iteration. Then in the display function, we are displaying the elements. For I is equal to 0, I less than n, C out a of I. That is, it is displaying the elements after sorting. In the void main, what's the first step? We need to create one object of the class. Here class name is sorting. S1 is the object of the class sorting. Then using that object we can call get data, sort and display. S1 dot get data, S1 dot sort, S1 dot display. That is, in insertion, sorting means arrange the elements in ascending order. Ascending or descending order. In this program, we are arranging the elements in ascending order. That is, in insertion sort, in each iteration, we are considering one element as key element. Then compare that key element with the elements before the key element. Then if the key element is less than the element, we need to interchange. Like that needs to continue till the position 0. After that again needs to continue the iteration.